Not so fast. How'd that get in here? What the hell is it anyway?
That is my
wife.
Well, what in all yarns me that happened to him? He's too damn tall now. And he looks like that. I blame you.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the sewage that is God of War Laufey's discourse. In the last video we went over one of the primary things being used against people criticizing the announcement of this game, which was the strawman argument that people complaining are toxic morons who are afraid of playing as a woman in video games or just hate them. You know, despite all the beloved female protagonists and characters that already exist with no issues whatsoever. That video was a big exploration of that ridiculous excuse while diving into the actual problems plaguing the God of War franchise and the current ongoing loss of its identity. There were some rants in there as well, but all in all it ended up as a concise dive into that, plus the narrative problems and the legacy of God of War. In this video though, we're touching on the second primary thing being used against people criticizing the announcement of this game, which is the aesthetics matter. I'll leave a link to that last video in the top comment of this one in case you guys want to check it out if you haven't yet. It's fine to keep going though, it's not a sequel, it's a continuation. Because of course, another part of the criticism towards God of War Laufey is that for no apparent reason whatsoever, the developers took the actress that looks like this and decided to emphasize every blemish possible, plus make her older and remove as much aura as possible from the character design, resulting in a needlessly bland, ugly character in a mainline fantasy action entry in the God of Aura franchise. I don't know about you guys, but something just isn't clicking with me here, and frankly it's also present across other big games from Western studios. Now of course, in any discussion involving female characters produced by Western developers during the last 5 years or so, the discourse shifts to gamers being gooners or incels just because of noticing or asking questions about this, so we gotta do something about that in this video. So that was the intro, now let's get into the sauce. Overall, this is just such a tiresome topic for me. It just keeps happening on and on and on, and the discourse is always the same stupid, disingenuous nonsense, you know? So excuse my French throughout this video, because I swear man, my patience for this stuff is thin, and hopefully you'll see why too. For example, it doesn't matter if we go back to God of War Ragnarok and we compare Faye in that game versus the Faye in the new one. It's beyond clear that she's been made to look older and haggard. And that's the reality right out of the gate too. Like if this little gameplay showcase had started a few extra minutes ahead when Faye is already at the enemy encampment, then that would mean that these defenders could say, oh well, she's been captured and it's normal that she looks stressed or whatever. I mean, it's not really a valid excuse anyway, because all this comes down to creative direction. It comes down to the intent of the developers. You can make a good looking character look stressed and bruised, it doesn't mean anything. You can tell that besides the expression or the bruises, the character still looks good. Tomb Raider serves as a perfect example here. A good design is just a good design. Whatever else goes on top of that doesn't take that away from it. But regardless, the demo starts right at the start of the game, where everything is fine, she just doesn't know where she is. So with Faye, that's not the case at all. She has the appearance of an old hag because that's the intent. The developer intent is deliberately bad design. And this stretches on to so many female video game characters nowadays, man. I mean, there's this old picture here that circulated the internet over a year ago when I started making videos. There's also this one that I used last year in a video in October or so. And we can fast forward to right now and there's new picture mashups of the same problem still persisting in AAA. Sure, some mashups will feature the same characters here and there, but there's just a bunch of examples regardless, which is my point. And it's hilarious how this same issue continues to present itself in this same way. You don't prominently see it in indie games, you don't prominently see it in games that come from the East, such as South Korea, China, Japan, etc., and you don't prominently see it in male characters. And what's even more noticeable is when you have actors or face models that are used for the characters. God of War Laufey is a perfect example of this shit. Because anytime a big Western studio comes out with a female character that is is being modeled after an actress, they almost always screw up the 3D scans. Unless it's Deborah Wilson, of course. Oh, for Deborah Wilson, for some reason unbeknownst to me, they always scan her perfectly. And if they can make her look a little bit younger, they even go for that, because obviously if you compare how she looks in Soy Squad versus how she looks in Jedi Survivor, two games that were in development around the same time, she looks younger and less blemished in Survivor. But anyway, any other women in big AAA Western studios, especially young, good-looking actresses? Suddenly these studios forget how to do it. Here's Kay Vess, modeled after her actress, Humberly Gonzalez, for example. I mean, shit, what happened? Did a hurricane hit the servers at Ubisoft or some shit? Now, of course, that's Ubisoft. You guys could say, why are we talking about Ubisoft? Let's talk about, the upper tier, right? Which is Sony. But the thing is that Sony is no stranger to this either. After all, this is what the actress of Faye looks like, and, well, this is what they did to her. And so how do you fumble something this hard? Like, how do you make such a good-looking lady have frames in-game where she looks like fucking Smeagol? Like, look at this. I'm probably going to use it on the thumbnail even. But Taz, you're being disingenuous over here because you took the picture at a bad moment. It's like when somebody gets caught while chewing food. Nobody looks good chewing food. Guys, that's not what I did here. This is just a normal frame in the game. This happens during a boss fight. This is what they want the character to look like when she's kicking ass. This happens right here, that there's a freeze frame sort of moment where she's doing this wind up for a big backhand attack. I'm not taking anything out of context, and there's so many more pictures that you can take, and if you actually do take pictures out of context, she looks even worse. This is the character. This is our character. This is how our warrior women are supposed to be depicted for the sake of, I don't know, realism or whatever. Like, it doesn't even look like the actress. You have to go out of your way to make this happen, dude. But somehow, when it's time to scan a male character, the tendency is the opposite. For instance, same game as before, Jedi Survivor. This is Cal Kestis, side by side with his actor, Cameron Monaghan. And just look at it. We even get more options to customize his hair with. For Death Stranding, Norman Reedus was scanned and given more muscles to reflect the character's job, which is to lug around hundreds of kilograms of cargo over mountains and rivers while fighting ghosts and enemy militias. Although, to be fair, when it comes to Kojima Productions, even though they're a bit west and a bit east, whenever they scan actors, they just scan the actors. Whenever they scan a female actress, it also doesn't look like crap. More recently though, we also have 007 First Light, where the actor got scanned and had his face adjusted a bit to look even better and more fitting as James Bond. So basically, when it's time to scan a dude, developers do it perfectly and are even allowed to tweak whatever it is that they need to tweak to make the character look even more ideal. And I have more examples of this in other videos that I've talked about before, because it's not the first time I talk about this topic. Sadly, that's why I'm so fatigued of it. It keeps coming up. But for women, you not only can't perfectly scan them, they have to go and screw up those scans to make them look uglier or weirder on purpose. And if at this point you find anyone who still doesn't think that this is on purpose, then please give them my fucking number, because I've got a bridge to sell them. And then, this insane denial of what is happening dominates discourse and comes out with delusional takes like these ones that I'm going to show you right now. Back in the day, gamers used to worry about whether the game would be fun. Nowadays, they worry about whether the female character will satisfy their sexual desires. What sexual desires? Why are we even talking about that? This is in response to a tweet showing how Kojima Productions perfectly scanned Margaret Qualley for her role as Mama in Death Stranding, and comparing it to the botched job that Santa Monica has done to Deborah Ann Woll. Again, it's comparing faces. What about this is related to sex? Literally nothing. But this is how these people argue. They can never actually reason with you. They can never actually tackle the argument that's on top of the table. They can only shit out nonsensical straw men to fight against and then run away. Also, maybe back in the day, the reason gamers worried about the game being fun primarily and didn't really have character designs in mind as much was because the games industry wasn't populated by activists pushing politics that affect the design of the characters. through crap like this initiative from Dove and Epic Games. All the little things that these studios get up to, like Microsoft when they saw Stellar Blade and they went, oh no, we don't do curvy women, we don't like that over here at Microsoft's Xbox Game Studios. So yeah, I guess thanks for making my point for me, dumbass. Next. Here's another one, this time from another YouTuber. The God of War discourse has made me realize how many people use video games as corn and are disappointed that it's not up to the task. Bit weird, isn't it? If anything, the God of War discourse has made me realize how amazing it is that guys like this are able to even remember to breathe every time that they wake up in the morning. Again, the post in question is comparing faces. In question is a screenshot from the game and then what someone parsed through an AI filter or something like that to simply remove so much of the garbage that Santa Monica planted on her face to make her look older, dehydrated, uglier, dry, for no fucking reason. Unless the reason is to make more images like this one where it's like, oh my goodness, compare the graphical details in the eyes of these characters. Goodness gracious, look at all the textures that we have. We have textures for our textures. We have so many goddamn textures that we're making our female characters look like they are 136. But everything is okay, everything is fine so long as we can keep pushing for ultra realism, because we all know that in order to sell games, what really gets them there is ultra realistic graphics. That's what gamers want. Visuals.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
And that's just the delusionally good faith approach, because realistically, no, they're just trying to make the character uglier because it just is what it is. It's the new fad, it's the new fashion. And we'll get into much more of this, like the whys and hows, as we continue throughout this video. But for now, let's get back to YouTube, man, because apparently for some reason, just this little change to the character's face, just the removal of zits and wrinkles and etc., is making this moron think of sexualization where there's literally none. The argument he's proposing doesn't even make sense. Like, yeah, sure, let's actually go with it, fellas, you know, join me in lowering our collective IQs down to the value of pi, and let's see if what this genius is saying actually makes sense.
Administering brain damage.
So let me get this straight. If I was out there looking for corn to crank it to in the video game realm, I would suddenly be satisfied if the developers of God of War merely gave Faye normal healthy skin without wrinkles around every goddamn fold of her face and a bunch of redness as if she just ate some bad yogurt. Like, this would be it? This would be enough to make the game corn material? Like, the rest of the game is still the same. I'm still just jumping around and fighting enemies and defeating godly bosses, but hey, because the face doesn't look like shit, it's suddenly corn? Are you saying that the line between what composes corn and what composes not corn is fucking wrinkles on a face?
Some people are really f***ing stupid.
Who is this? What the content does he even make? Oh wow, 50,000 subscribers, can't even crack 5,000 views consistently. I mean, shit, it's no wonder really with takes like this. Come on fellas, hit that subscribe button, let's up those numbers so we can get past the soy boy. You guys see what I meant when I said that thing in the last video? But instead of responding to them, as I sometimes do in similar videos covering controversies, I thought I'd wrap them up into a general argument people are making and respond to that instead. Reason for this is because, well, when I do direct responses, things tend to get a little bit out of hand. This genuinely hurts my stomach. Like, what do you mean you're just killing them for the fun of it? The game has built-in mechanics that let you deter these things. You don't need to kill those animals when you have no reason to. Bro, it's a fucking video game. It ain't real. The fish aren't there. Take it easy, brother. It's not real. It's not a real aquarium. People that kill animals, mobs, or creatures in video games for no perceivable reason are deeply unsettling. Yeah, no, I'm not even going to read the rest of this nonsense. You are gargantually retarded. Seek help. Like, I don't know, check yourself into an asylum or something. I'm gonna start assuming anyone with this mod is either white or colonizer descendant. Fair enough. I'm gonna start assuming that anyone who says this type of shit should get institutionalized. One of the girls from the event even said that they don't have money for that. They live in Tunisia. You know. Let's go on Google Earth real fast, real quick. Let's have a look at Tunisia. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay. I see what's going on. Take a look at this. Quote, special thanks to Asmongold, I am now 90% sure that no woman was ever involved in organizing this event. Probably some grown overweight man. What are you guys drinking? Piss? Earnings from Bungie's title portfolio did not reach our expectations, so we downwardly revised our business plan and impaired the full amount of the fixed assets related to Bungie except for goodwill. That's corpo speak for, we fucked up. You know, when I said I don't like to dive into these responses sometimes and I'd rather just talk about the matter, it's because of this. Things get petty real fast, and it might be entertaining, but it's not very classy. And sometimes, you know, sometimes it's not like I'm a fancy hoe or anything, but sometimes I do like to be a little bit, at least a little bit classy. But hey, since we're in the gutter already in this video, let's at least do one more for the trifecta of the God of Laundry Defense Force. This time with a Twitch streamer, which are on average even worse than YouTubers. But let's see what she has to say.
Kratos. Oh, wait, how did he get here? What the hell? Yeah, all I saw was people are mad about this, and I saw a picture of her, and makes me think that none of those people actually played God of War. The same people that are mad that you play as this woman, they weren't mad about Stellar Blade and Wu Chang, but they're mad about Ghost of Yotei and Laufey in God of War. That's something's not adding up. Okay, wait a minute. If she's not pretty, she has no value. So you're saying that more than half the population don't have value unless their boobs are out. But she is pretty, exactly. But she's not like 20, like 18 with massive she's just normal pretty. She's not like literally an AI anime waifu.
Absolutely brilliant display of intelligence here too. I gotta say, man, Santa Monica really needs to up the ante here. You know, they gotta get the head of Sony Studios on the phone, plus their marketing departments, and start cutting deals with better shills than this, because the current God of Laundry Defense Force is so fucking stupid that they probably already forgot the game exists after another 6-pack of energy drinks and a nap. This video of hers actually goes on for 2 more minutes as she goes on a nonsensical diatribe against gamers and how none of this is applied to male characters, going on to use examples like Geralt and Joel, as if gamers are supposed to be complaining about Joel being a 40-year-old mid-looking man instead of a sexy guy. Here's a newsflash. Number 1, none of this has anything to do with sexiness. You're once again deludedly creating a straw man to argue against because you can't address the actual matter. Number 2, most gamers playing these types of games are dudes. Obviously, we're not going to be over here measuring whether a male character looks attractive or not. That's a female player's job, which they happily already do with characters like Leon Kennedy, Dante, Cal Kestis, so on and so forth. So when it comes to this, we're actually at the same level here. You got your Leon Kennedys, which are made to be good looking and attractive to women, and then you got your Joels, which are just standard looking men who are still perfectly fit and normal looking, even attractive to some other other women. After all, your taste isn't everybody else's taste. I mean, just look at Arthur Morgan. That's another character kind of like Joel. He's not young, he's not sexy, and yet there's a bunch of female players in the Red Dead Redemption community that are throwing themselves at him. You know those bathhouses that you can go to and you can pay like 50 cents to get a deluxe bath? I bet they do it for free. Shit, I bet they would pay Arthur Morgan to be able to give him a deluxe bath. And maybe some dudes too. Yeah, there's some dudes over there in the Red Dead Redemption community doing that too. You know, there's some sus boys in there. You know what I'm saying? They want to get in on that. And on the other hand, as established previously, there's scores of male characters 3D modeled from actors or male models, either in a full perfect one-to-one way or even improved by being given better facial features or more muscles, etc. You are eating just fine, sweetheart. The only thing you can complain about is instances of weak-ass men with zero aura, but that is a writing problem, and writing problems affect us all.
Fresh air. Oh, you're different.
You're a cube. Talking. You know what? It doesn't matter. How do we get out of here?
Yeah, we've tried. There's no way out.
And you're a talking sword.
I'm not the sword. I'm the ribbons, obviously. And my name is Rue. The cube is Frank.
That is a writing problem, and writing problems affect us all, including the female characters and even the non-humanoid characters out there. And now, on the other hand, our equivalent to characters like Leon Kennedy or Dante are characters like Eve from Stellar Blade or Bayonetta or 2B. Then we have normal-looking female characters that we also happily enjoy without them being strictly designed to be attractive. These are characters such as Faith from Mirror's Edge, Lara Croft from Tomb Raider, specifically more recent designs of course. Earlier Lara's were purposely made to be attractive. And many more like Aerith and Tifa from Final Fantasy, the ladies from the Resident Evil games, so on, so forth. And if I may interrupt myself for a second, just focus up on the screen right now. Just look at how good these girls look. Both the characters on the left side and the face models on the right side. They look amazing. They're night and day away from what we see out of most AAA Western studios right now, and the fact is that they wouldn't have to be. If Capcom wanted to be as stupid as these other studios, as stupid as Santa Monica, they could have made the in-game models ugly. They could have cranked up every blemish on the models' faces. They could have removed every possible filtering that's layered on top. They could have removed any coloring and digital touch-ups that enhanced the characters' looks. They could have done all that and frankly even more, like making them look even older. And guess what? They could have done that shit and used the same exact excuses and it would be even more valid, because they could have come out like, duh, Chud, they're in a zombie apocalypse. It would be stupid and unrealistic for them to take care of their skin or apply makeup. Even when that excuse alone is stupid, because I mean, look at them. They didn't get hit with the Simpsons makeup gun. They just look like respectably designed characters that are worthy of leading a single-player game. They look like protagonists. They look like memorable iterations that could be icons, provided the games are good as well. They look like the kind of characters that you want to cosplay. This is all literally a matter of choice. In a perfect world, this whole video wouldn't even need to exist. We wouldn't need to be talking about initiatives or activism in the industry. We wouldn't have to give examples. We wouldn't need to do responses. It would just be these pictures and nothing else, because all of it, fellas, is cope. It's all cope. There is zero excuse for making characters come out looking bland, disheveled, or downright ugly. The realest goddamn fact that nobody has the sauce to argue against is that this is a blatantly, obviously, and deliberate decision from the activism that's been plaguing the Western games industry, which worries more about social impact and challenging norms and standards, in this case of beauty, out here in the West through our goddamn medium. F them and f everybody else who defends and protects that shit. People have never had problems with normal-looking female characters that are made to look good and appealing, especially as the very heroes in their own games, but not attractive. It's not us who have a problem distinguishing this, it's you. It's always you who always take this shit towards the sexual route that nobody was talking about. Hey, you really thought you had something here, didn't you? But you didn't. You're just in an echo chamber of simps who tell you exactly what you want to hear. In this whole situation where we are not on equal footing is that unlike male gamers, you don't have entire consultation firms in gaming driven by the single solitary desire to demasculinize and uglify male characters visually. Narratively, oh yeah, big time, but visually, not as much. The big thing, the big target of these pushes are female characters, otherwise Joel wouldn't look the way that he does, he would look like this instead. And new IPs would be announced, and instead of male characters looking decent, normal, or even good, they would just look like fat, balding 50-year-olds. That's the goddamn equivalent of this agenda against beauty affecting female characters. And that brings us to number 3, which is the most important point that matters. These are video games. This isn't real life. None of this has anything to do with this nonsense that she went on about only beauty having value, and so since most of the planet isn't a 10 out of 10, then most of the planet has 0 value. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you okay? It's video games, sweetheart. You know what those are? You play them? They're not real. They're fake. It's pixels on the screen. None of this correlates. My father is balding. I rather like my father. I would very much like to see him healthy and happy in his twilight years. However, this does not mean that if Naughty Dog presents the next Uncharted game or whatever, I want to play as a short, balding old man. It may be kind of crazy for me to say, but I rather think a game like Uncharted requires a young, strong, and agile protagonist. Imagine that. The craziest things are being said right here on the December show. Never before has someone uttered something so risky, so brave, so monumentally ground-shattering as, you know, the Uncharted games requiring a young and agile character. Same thing with my mother. I love my mother. I love to take both of these motherfuckers out for coffee or dinner every now and then, bond some more now that they're retired and have more free time, you know, have some fun, take them to places they haven't been before, or them taking me to places I haven't been before that they enjoy. In no way does this mean that if I'm gonna play a God of War game starring a female Jotnar protagonist, a goddess with powers that according to Ragnarok have rivaled Thor and now according to the current game rival even Kratos, I want her to look like an old haggard grandma. This has been so crazy to see, my dude. Like, it actually has. This is why this section had to be responses. It's because how do I even do it any other way? If I told you guys that someone made the argument that this idiot made about only beauty having value, and so if we only value fucking beauty, then that means that we don't value actual human lives on the planet that don't look like, I don't know, Sydney Sweeney's or whatever, then you guys would say that I'm capping. That's what you would say, and you know you would. You know you would. You know that if I told you, and then, you know, there's these guys saying this, you know, and I saw this chick saying this, and she had a bunch of likes because she's like a content creator, and she said this, that. You guys would be like, nah, come on, Daz, you're washed. Daz, you're capping, you're washed, you're making shit up to put on your video. There's an epidemic of self-absorbed content creators out there who have jack fuck of an idea of what's going on in the games industry, and then they get on their little cameras, you know, they get the little cameras rolling or little streams rolling, and they make these videos or stream clips speaking with authority on a matter that they know nothing about. This is a video game, it's not real life. Video games are fit for escapism, for fun, for whimsy. They're made for characters to be made into beloved icons, to dazzle and surprise us, to look striking and embody characteristics and values that appeal to us. But this is getting taken away from us by activists with an obsession to challenge body and beauty standards, challenge what a hero should look like.
Overwatch is a trailblazer at challenging that, right? Of trying to break those molds, of trying to explore the bounds of what it means to be good, what it looks like to be heroic.
And we are getting sick and tired of this hypocritical subversion. It's been overdone for years. That's why the Laufey drama has been so loud. Like, yes, she's right, people complained about Dyoto too, but not Stellar Blade. Wanna guess why? Because it was so very clearly present in Dyoto as well. Except in that game, there was a beautiful picture-perfect excuse. Ah, but Des, it's a peasant woman from feudal Japan, a scrappy outlaw at that, so how is she supposed to look good? It would be unrealistic. She's not going to stop mid-fight to apply makeup. So in other words, hey, let's make our character look like shit because it's realistic to do so. It would be unrealistic to present her with better skin and touch-ups to imply makeup or anything else. That was the excuse they gave, and it wasn't even an honest one, because at the same time, they had that same poor little peasant woman have the strength necessary to pull one of those big-ass NPCs in full body armor that probably weighed 2 or 3 times more than her by yanking a Kusarigama chain. So suddenly, realism isn't worth striving for anymore. Suddenly, this realism is fine to suspend our disbelief for, but for being made to look a little better, so that she can at least have a more striking, memorable, and heroic presence in an action game, it's not worth suspending our disbelief. No, get it out. Make her look bland and like crap. I mean, come on, man. And this Faye design, just look at the concept art that was shared for Ragnarok. How is this the vision that you had in Ragnarok? Then, of course, in game, she changed a little bit. They gave her a reddish hair, so she wasn't straight up blonde anymore. But then from these designs in Ragnarok to Laufey, she looks nothing like them. Regardless of honesty or not, the same excuse of realism doesn't work anymore with Laufey. She's a goddess in a fantasy game, but these disingenuous morons now go, oh, you can accept dragons and gods from other lands, but you can't accept that his wife looks significantly older than she did or looks like garbage because she's in fights. Same old disingenuous mind game, and we're tired. We don't even have to argue anymore. Anytime this kind of thing is brought up, these people just look brain dead with the arguments they make. And people are just sick and tired of that hypocritical subversion. Again, it's been overdone for years, and it has zero logical, financial, or even artistic value. It makes characters look objectively worse. This isn't game design, it's activism, pure and simple. You don't have to make the woman look 20 years old. You can make her look older, you can make her look like a wife without making her look like garbage at the same time. It's possible. People not wanting to support this crap has nothing to do with any of the nonsense that this Twitch streamer or any of the other people featured in these responses are saying. We are at a point where this has been more than documented. Hell, we're at a point where even progressive game developers are getting affected by this. I've shown this dude's plight before and I'll show it again, even if you would hate to see me do it. Quote, there's been a handful of times I've pitched black women characters that look like this. Then, after 10 iterations, the concept or model comes back without a speck of the original beauty that I pitched. I'm not talking about mild changes, I'm talking about pose, aura, style, softness, age, flair. I hate giving Gamergate men fuel, but it's very difficult to pitch beautiful or vain black women in games without them coming back looking like grocery store aunties. There is room for both. Well, what do we do now? Do any of the lobotomites defending Laufey wanna, take a step forward and call Del Walker an incel gooner as well, who clearly just wants to crank it to video game characters? Or can we finally address the problem that is clearly in front of all of us, now that a progressive leftist black man said it too? These people abhor beauty. These people abhor every single goddamn thing that even remotely relates to appeal. And I'm not even talking about leftists at this point. I'm talking about the most fringe, extreme ones. Because Del Walker is a very progressive guy. Again, he doesn't even want to give Gamergate men any excuses to bring this kind of thing up, but he acknowledges that there's a problem that extremists in these goddamn studios and consultant companies are inflicting on the industry. This gets in the way of creating striking characters that arrive on scene, kick ass, and look good doing it. We are tired of this subversion, and we are sick of the same disingenuous excuses trying to sweep the goddamn problem under the rug, while the issue remains. Tired of these lobotomized shills coming out and defending a clearly stupid, objectively negative, and self-destructive practice within the AAA gaming scene because it makes them sound good and virtuistic, or whatever the fuck the word would be. You're all worse than tourists. You're parasites in the medium of video games. Look guys, I get it. Sometimes I get heated and I sound a bit like a jerk, but it's the fatigue. Because the issue is obviously there. I want to enjoy a female character in a video game. I don't have a problem with playing as a woman, I never did. But extremists infecting the goddamn games industry are making that impossible. And they're not even helping themselves. All these people that say that they're progressive, they're not helping you. They're not making it better, they're making it worse. This isn't progress, this is regression, erasure, and worse. It's just needless damage. The issue is obviously there. The new designs are worse than the originals or the old school of character design, and the reasons for their changes are always nonsense. It's this same old sanitization of content and this allergy, or rather allergic reaction to appealing to their audiences because they're mostly composed of dudes. It's inevitable that I'll find myself talking about this crap again, because ever since I made my first video debunking all this garbage all the way back in September or October of 2024, nothing has changed. In fact, it's only gotten worse. And it doesn't matter how many times this reaches the mainstream, it doesn't matter how many views videos like this get, it doesn't matter how many times Asmongold reacts to a video from whoever the fuck repeating and rehashing the same points or the same discourse, bringing it into the radar of even more people in and outside of the industry. This isn't going to go away anytime soon, because these studios package themselves with people who legitimately don't know any better. The industry was packed with starving artists and raving mad lads who came up with character designs whose main theme was, how do I make this the coolest motherfucker on the planet? Now it's packed with Karens and soy boys who think the pinnacle of character design is exacerbating blemishes to be counterculture with hyper-realism that defies the norm of an ass-kicking hero ideally looking cool, fit, capable, striking, and yes, not necessarily, but a bonus if and when it fits, attractive. Not for gooning purposes, just for the sake of that being a normal, appealing characteristic. Again, activism, politics, social experiments, social impact. All this garbage, I'm just so tired of it. It's a curse upon the entertainment medium. I'll close the video with this meme. It kind of fits perfectly and it's a good way to end on a high note. I found it on X yesterday. Explain to me in a logical, calm manner how making video game women as ugly as possible is supposed to increase the sales of video games when gaming itself is also a male-dominated hobby. It's simple, it's poignant, and it's perfect because they legitimately can't do that. All they can ever do is get mad, spurg out, throw insults at you for noticing an issue or asking a question, and at best, regurgitate batshit insane strawman arguments. There is objectively no advantage to this. It doesn't result in more sales and it doesn't do anything positive for society. All it does is create more needless division and resentment towards the values that it pretends to care about. Literally pretends too, because yeah, none of this is about uplifting women, it's just about damaging gaming. It's not just men who like appealing and striking female character designs, it's women too. And this movement is robbing them of their own iconic characters. They could have their own Kratos, or their own Nathan Drake, they could have their own Western Bayonetta, their own James Bond, etc, etc, etc. But they're never going to, because activists are deliberately damaging female character in design and writing, making them more obnoxious as well. I'm sure you guys have noticed some of these, what do you call them, stereotypes or whatever. Even Laufey shows that a bit, design-wise I mean. She's chopped. And narrative-wise, well, they're just making her female Kratos. No identity of her own. She doesn't even get her own franchise name. Name of the game is just God of War anyway. Fights the same way, it's just that she twirls around in the air, you know, and she also can jump, like she can jump and she can twirl around in the air like Kratos used to, you know, back in the original games. And that's about it for this video, fellas. If you enjoyed it, giving it a like or hyping on mobile really helps the channel, and beyond that, just thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. It's probably going to be about the Stellar Blade situation. Take care, fellas.